thank you so much for joining us, Raed. Really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. Could we start off maybe just by talking a little bit about your participation at GITEX this year?
Yeah, sure. I mean, within Dell Technologies, this year is because of the COVID situation. You can see it's different than other years, but we realized that GITEX is still a great platform that we can communicate with our customers, partners, and stakeholders when it comes to these emerging technologies. So this year's we don't have physical stand per se, but we do have a virtual expo where we showcase all our products from the server storage networking all the way to the PCs and services. So that's one side. And the other piece is we also participating in many tech talks on related to the latest emerging technologies, like for example, smart cities, 5G, AI, virtual reality, and others. And we had two panel discussions, one of which I myself was involved with a couple of days ago, the first day of GITEX, about the AI impact on education.
Oh, that's great. We've actually done a number of webinars ourselves on the impact of digital initiatives with education. So would you mind just talking a little bit about the impact of AI on the education sector, particularly here in the Middle East?
Yes, I mean it's no secret that there's a lot of excitement and interest from the academia side and also the industry on AI. But when it comes to academia, so one of the surveys that was done by I think 451 Research, just highlighting and the challenges and barriers to adopting these technologies, AI more specifically, is showing or highlighting that the lack of a skill as number one or top of the list, and it simply means that there isn't enough in the world data scientists to fulfill and fill in the gap of the demand, and this criteria or this phenomena is just being increased as we go forward. And one of the surveys, like 10 million of data scientists will be needed by 2025, just a few years down the road. So this is where academia comes into play and play an important role of producing and equipping the next generation workforce with the right skill sets. So this is one area that I think where AI and academia will be working hand in hand to provide the next generation. But when it comes to AI, how it impacts the education itself, we see in AI used as, for example, to personalized education. So if you think about a recommender system, right? So if you want to specifically deep dive on certain topic, so think about when you're watching a Netflix movie and it says like we based on what you've watched, we recommend this type of movie for you. So it's basically collect some attributes and features based on that movie, and you can apply the same technique for students are interested in learning about any area based on AI. So AI can figure out based on your interests, but also based on other people what they've done, and can recommend or personalize your education track, if you will.
And how do you think you plug those gaps? You were talking about the shortfall in the number of data scientists that there are. Is it about investing in the next generation, in training people up?
Yeah, I mean, there is no one solution or one size fits all to this. I mean, we've seen a lot of universities uh, incorporating a curriculum specifically for data science and AI. We're actually in UAE. We have one of the universities, one of a kind in the world, that based on AI, right, with 2 tracks in masters and PhD, specializing in areas like computer vision and natural language processing. So this is one area that we've seen worldwide, but also we've seen, also online tracks. So one example is like Coursera is you can specialize on a specific area within AI or data science in general. But it doesn't stop in that, and I think it's like ongoing journey, because this field is evolving in a very fast pace. There's always new techniques, algorithms, even the hardware side, accelerators and specialized pieces that designed specifically for AI. So there's on-job training, if you will, and there's also workshops, etc. So it's an ongoing journey to ultimately gain the right knowledge and keep up to date with these techniques and algorithms.
Right. I think everyone would agree that 2020 has been a unpredictable year. That would be one word for it. How do you see 2021 panning out for Dell Technologies here in the region?
So this is a good question, because we've been always talking about enterprise to ask him and convince him to move to to become digital enterprise, accelerate their digital transformation, and because of the COVID situation, this is being actually accelerated. We've seen companies overnight has to shift their model and be able to cope up with the connected workforce and also transform into and use these type of technology. So if anything, by the COVID situation, we've seen a lot of interest in companies being digitalized and changing their models. Actually, in one study was done by Digital Transformation Index within Dell. It was showing up to 80% of CIOs and enterprise in general adapting and accelerating their digital transformation journey because of the COVID situation.